Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moltrap here coming at you with a PvP, a nice little English commentary of a Korean StarCraft game here from 2006. This is from the GomTV MSL, so you can see that guy's sign, which says Kim Taek-young, Bisu's name, blocking the GomTV logo in the middle there, but this is going to be a nice Protoss versus Protoss. This is an interesting series. So this is from the GomTV MSL. This is the semi-final. And Nalra is going to be the white Protoss for this game, which means Bisu's going to be the red Protoss over there on the other side. And, oh, I forgot to check the name of this map. But anyways, this is the map. I don't remember the name of this map, but this is the one where you've got the spawns in the top corners, and then there's kind of like a middle area, and there's different lanes and stuff. Anyway, it's funny, I didn't look it up ahead of time, but you can tell by the spawns and the shape of the map what it is. Anyway, I wanted to do this series because this is an interesting series. This is a situation where, so this is the semifinals. The winner of this series goes on to the MSL finals, obviously, it's what semifinals means, where they will, I actually don't remember if this is the first or second one, but this is where they're likely to face Savior in the finals. And I wanted to do this because this is an interesting context. Sorry, I had to take a little drink of water. Nalra and Savior have a history. You might have heard of the Holy Wars, right? Because Ra is a Egyptian god, Savior reminiscent of Jesus, and so just because of their names, so it was called the Holy Wars, where these guys, they duked it out in 2005, and Savior was, absolutely dominant. Later he became a scumbag match fixer, of course, we have to mention every time, but at the time he was an actual, he was the best ZVP that had ever been known, basically. And Nalra did the best against Savior. They met in two finals, and Savior won both those finals that I'm aware of, unless there was a third somewhere, I don't know. But Nalra actually, he didn't have a winning record, but he had the best record of any Protoss against Savior, of any Protoss. I think it was 10-7 or something like that. It was well, he was 7-10, I guess. So yeah, so Nalra wants to win this series to move on to the finals so that he can have a crack at tying his record with Savior. And also, I don't know if it was exactly tied at this moment in time, though. It's hard to figure out exactly where things stood at different points in time. But little Manor Pylon going down for BC, by the way, to block some probes. Wait, was it a double Manor Pylon? I think it's like a double Manor Pylon. He really wants to block out those minerals. That is interesting. Or I think, I'm not sure what's going on there. One of the pylons is an anti-Manor Pylon. Sorry, an anti-Manor Pylon by Nalra. And then Bisu has the Manor Pylon. Man, they don't do this in PvP that much these days, do they? Back in the day, there used to be all pylons everywhere, man. People play some pylons to block the pylons that are going to block their mineral. Anyway, this is craziness. Anyway, just to finish the context real quick. So, yeah, so Nalra wants to win this series so he can go on to the finals and have another crack at Savior, basically. And it's also interesting because this was coming out of a period in 2004, 5, 6 where Protosses were just not winning anything. Reach was often the only Protoss player in some of the tournaments. That was some of the ones that we've seen that I've casted, actually. You got a little Zealot action happening here. Bisu is being aggressive with his Zealot here. He's trying to take out probes. He did a little bit of damage to the Zealot. It's maybe a misplay there. You want to be doing damage to the probes. Oh, he gets trapped. The Cybernetics Core blocks him. And now that the Dragoon is out, Nalra is going to take control of his base again. The Manor Pylon goes down. So Nalra might be taking an advantage here, actually, because Bisu, I don't think he did a ton of damage for the investment there. Although, he lost a Pylon and a Zealot. So maybe it's not that big of an investment, actually. 200 minerals. Did he do 200 minerals worth of damage? Unclear. I would say no, but I don't know. Anyway, so it's also just a cool moment where you have two Protosses in the semifinals, actually. And there's a Terran and a Zerg in the other semifinal. I believe it was Savior versus Huashin? Or I actually don't remember. No, it wasn't. Was it Huashin? I don't remember. Some other Terran. in the other semifinal, and which is a funny matchup actually because they were both match fixtures eventually, Xavier and Washington. Anyway, so I don't know, just looking for a series to do, and this was a fun series that had some interesting context I wanted to bring up and let you guys know about, but it's also just a fun PvP. I don't often do PvPs because I think people prefer to have non-mirror matchups most of the time, just a little bit more dynamic, but I really enjoy PvP, so I just wanted to do a PvP series. We're going to go ahead and do the whole best of 5 for this series. And it'll be fun. I know it's interesting because one of the reasons I like PvP is I really enjoy watching the really close micro of micro and Dragoons back and forth. You see them in a big Dragoon battle. They're kind of pulling Dragoon back and going back forward and spreading out the damage. And it's just an absolute masterpiece of micro. And when there's Reavers involved as well, you've got shuttles picking up Reavers, swapping them back and forth. Players trying to snipe the other Reavers. Sometimes they go in and fake like they're going to attack the Reaver, and then they attack the shuttle because they know that the other player is going to pick up the Reaver to protect it from the shot. And it's just very big mind games going on. And but in this case, we actually have DTs out for Bisu. We saw the Templar Archives a while ago, and the Korean casters are getting very excited because there is an observatory warping in right now, which means these DTs are probably always going to try and... Wait, what is he going to try and do? Is he going to try and... Oh, never mind. There's a gap there, right? There's not a gap large enough for anything to get through. His own Dragoon is blocking the gap in case enemy DTs were across the map towards him, but he's able to kind of open the door there, run the DTs through, and close the door again. And, of course, there is a longer route you can go through, but the timing of DTs is really crucial. He is going to be able to come in here, and he's going to be able to get some DT kills. We do see Bisu's point of view right now. He's just, look at this. This is how good Bisu is. He's able to go back to his base and put probes on minerals while he's microing DTs in the enemy base. But the Observer is going to pop out very soon. It's not quite early enough to stop the damage. There is the Observer popping out right now, and his Dragoons are in place. He's going to go ahead and pick off that DT, but several probes killed already, and that second DT is doing a lot of damage to that Nexus's shields. Not going to kill it, but the entire time that DT is there, it means no probes can actually mine from that base. So Nalra going for a quick expansion, Bisu going into a DT rush after the pylon and zealot harassment, and it looks like, look at this, he only has one observer, so he kind of has to keep his forces here until he clears up that DT. Now he can go down and clear out the second DT. Is it going to be too late? That Nexus is down to like 250 hit points, and it's going to be not quite enough. So, well-timed by Nalra. He was patient. He didn't panic or anything like that. But anyways, but that DT was stopping probes from mining at the second base for like a full minute or two. So, the damage is done. So, Bisu basically expanding on his own behind the DT rush, not going all in or anything like that. And I think, the earlier harassment with the Zealot and the Pylon didn't really do enough, but it slowed him down just enough that he had a full 20 seconds. A full 20 seconds with his DTs in there, And it may have worked out that the timing, it would have still been 15 seconds. I don't know. But the observers were not out for a little bit of time, and it gave him enough time with those DTs. He was able to do significant damage to Nalra's economy. So I think, I would estimate that he's done enough damage to negate the fact that Nalra had his expansion up earlier, because now Bisu has had his expansion mining for basically the same amount of time, because his came up later, but he's been able to mine from the entire time. And he killed several probes. And I actually am not. I kind of missed what happened with the DT in the main. I was like, why is he not sending his forces down to the natural to stop that DT? I guess the DT was hiding or something like that. And he didn't kill it off. And I don't know why he wasn't chasing it, but maybe he's just worried it was going to sneak around and get back to his probes or something like that. So he figured it's better to camp my goons and my observer next to my base, so I'm at least mining from one base. Rather than having to run back around and be run around in circles. Okay, we do have a little bit of a drop here. He's dropped 2 more DTs into the main. The observers at the natural again, blocking any DTs from running in the front. And there's no cannons or anything like that, so he's going to run in here and he's going to be able to get some probe kills. Is Nalra going to notice? They're one-chopping the probes. He does notice, but not before he loses 4, 5, 6. Well, not before he loses 4 or 5 probes. He's going to lose 6 or 7 in total because he's going to go after those gas probes that didn't get pulled. Man, significant economic damage dealt here by Bisu, by these Dark Templars. And GomTV is written so many times on that screen, even on the side of the headphones. Do you think GomTV will end up being involved in esports at all after this MSL? Who knows? Anyway, Bisu's economy is roaring now, so he's planning down extra gateways. I think he knows that he has the advantage economically, and he's like, all right, all I need to do is just mass units and go in. We did see the Citadel go down for Nalra. Curious to see if he's going to go into Templar Tech himself, or if he's going to go into Reaver Tech. If we've seen one sign of that or another, I haven't spotted it, so my apologies. But, ooh, yeah, oh, actually, Bisu has one of the middle bases now as well. So he's actually got 3 bases to 2 right now. Nalra not really in good shape in order to get at third base. Without doing some damage back to Bisu, he might even be counting on, okay, look, I know I can't really get at third base. I'm going to have to mount up an attack, win a battle. There is a little bit of a timing here where Bisu spent a lot of money on the Nexus, the cannons for that third base, where Nalra might be able to have a little bit of an advantage with his units, but he doesn't seem to think so because he's not trying to press any such advantage if he has it at all, which he probably doesn't, honestly. But, yeah, what tech is Nalra going to go into? He has to have some sort of higher tech. You can't just make tons of gateway units against a player who has... Well, you know, we haven't seen High Templar. Sometimes if they overmake Dark Templar, it can be a bad thing. Okay, there's the Templar Archives for Nalra. He's just trying to chill, protect against more harassment, and try and get into better tech. His hope right now is to just have better tactics in the fight that's going to come up, basically. He needs to get Templar out. He basically needs to land better storms. I'm assuming, I mean, you're going to have to get storms. Oh, he might be able to catch some units out here. Nalra forced to fall back. Nalra just doesn't really have much of an army, actually. Oh, and he left one of the DTs off to the side. It's going to be able to sneak back in here. The Dragoon gets a little bit confused running around the buildings, and this DT is going to be able to get a couple more kills. Just 2 more kills. But that is not what Nalra needs right now. And here, Bisu coming in down this ramp. This is a really good spot for him to fight from, actually, because now he can fall back to the ramp. He can fire downhill. The Dragoons of Nalra are not going to be as effective if they try and fight uphill there, basically. Although the Zealots kind of have to be on the bottom of the hill in that situation, so he can still get good hits on those. But, yeah, I'm waiting to see who's going to have the first storms, because if... Oh, a Stargate? Oh, he's going to go for Arbiters, I guess? Interesting. Oh, no. And while Nalra is stuck defending his base on the natural, his newly built third is under attack. And Bisu's just on a move here. One of his Zealots is actually just hitting the Templar Archives kind of pointlessly. But it doesn't really matter at this point. He's even dropping Zealots and Templar in the main. Nice storm. But at the next second, okay, he had actually missed a little bit of opportunity for a huge storm on the entire line of probes heading down the ramp. But he does the damage he needs to regardless, and it doesn't really matter. It looks like he's kind of split in 3 different places, so he is going to lose that battle at the natural. But killing off the probes in the main and killing off the Nexus in the third, taking his fourth at the same time, you know, you can lose one battle to win the war. And, you know, losing one battle to win 3 battles is a good way to win the war, in fact. And so now here's the second wave coming in here. Nalra doesn't have anything left. He's even just going to be able to target down. That DT did so much damage to the Nexus earlier that the Zealots can just right-click it and kill it off. And Nalra is going to have to be tapping out pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen. He's just got nothing left. Bisu with 4 bases, map control, tech, and the victory. And there's the GG. There's the GG. Bisu taking game number 1 in this best of 5 series against Nalra, and well done indeed. You know, I wonder, it's just interesting to think about how this could have been slightly different. It was a very snowbally game, right? And it had to do with the timing of the observatory. Actually, we can even just go back and check here. So he was kind of harassing here with the Zealots and the pylon and everything like that. Where was I'm looking for the timing of the observatory, though, because we saw DT went straight into DTs. Sorry, Bisu went straight into DTs. And there's the robotics facility. And an extra gateway. Okay, the robo, okay, so now I'm trying to find out, like, how long was the robotics facility up when there wasn't an observatory? Then that might have been like a crucial point here. They're just showing their faces though, so we're not really getting a shot of his base. I think the robo is up already though. Okay, this is where he expanded. Yeah, the robo is up. And the DTs are on the way. The robo is up, the DTs are on the way, and there's no observatory. And there we go. So there was probably 5 or 10 seconds. 5 or 10 seconds where he could have been building the observatory and he kind of missed it. Maybe he didn't have enough money because of the Nexus. And now we see the DTs are walking in here. The observer is building right now. The observer is building. Bisu sees the observatory. But we're going on 10 seconds when there's no observer. There's the observer comes out. So in that time, Bisu got several kills. And I mean, it's interesting to think about how maybe if Nalra had just done things a little bit differently, he would have been able to get that observer out 10 seconds earlier. If that observer, I can't talk today. If that observer is out 10 seconds earlier, he's able to get the observer out because the DTs just walked into the front door, right? Because there was no observers out yet. Here they go. And he splits one to the natural, one to the main. If he just has, you know, stuff in front, if he has an observer in the front of his base with his few Dragoons and what have you, then those DTs don't get in, and this is a completely different game. So that just, I wanted to just kind of highlight just that, just to show you, I mean, I guess everyone probably knows this, but how crucial these timings are, and how, you know, and I don't know exactly how that would have worked in terms of the harassment earlier, but if, oops, that's way too far back. That's the stat screen. That's the intro of the game. But, you know, if the Manor Pylon slowed Nalra down those 10 seconds, then it's all worth it, you know? Anyway, just an interesting game to see how the timings worked out, and Bisu able to take the victory. It was a long victory, but it was a victory that was won with those 10 seconds of probe kills, you know? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. That's game number 1. We're going to move on to game number 2 as well. It's going to be coming out very soon. And thanks very much for watching. GG.